Hello and welcome to the first ever Game Boys podcast with me, Joe.
And me, Nathan, and we have a special guest today.
Hello, it is Nanook12 or Tom.
So yeah, let's start with our first topic of the day, PlayStation VR 2.
PSVR 2, guys. Is everyone excited about this?
I am, to be honest. The controllers look amazing. They look a lot like the Quest controllers.
The
Oculus Quest
from I was thinking of the Valve Index.
Yeah. Well, apparently they'll have that functionality with the fingers and everything. So
I think that's good. That's good.
But someone pointed out online they actually look a lot like the Sony Ericsson logo.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, which I actually do.
I hope so, because I kind of want to see more releases like Half-Life Alexa. Oh, is this Alexa?
Half-Life Alex.
Alex, yeah.
Alexa, whichever.
Are you just setting off people's Alexas now?
Yeah, that's all he's doing, yeah. Playing a trick on everyone listening.
Yeah. Alexa, please search.
Half-Life Alex.
No, I'm not even going to say it. I think that game, I've only seen gameplay of it online, but it looks fucking amazing. So I think there's more games out there that have the potential to bring that to people, that'd be amazing. Because my main issue is my PC is, for lack of a better word, trash, and there's no way in a million years I'll be able to play Half-Life Alex with this. And if I had that kind of functionality with like some kind of VR controller with something that I have access to, like a console, that'd be wicked. I'm a console gamer. I've got a PlayStation 4 at the moment. I live in the UK, so PS5 is
very hard to
non-existent.
I mean, I'm surprised I have my one. I had that thing. I had to actually get the guy to go to the van to get it.
Yeah,
like he was going to nick it, like some people had.
Security.
Yeah, I don't have a van guy. I don't have a van guy, so I'm still kind of sat here like a chump.
What Joe's actually saying is he got it off the back of a van.
Well, basically, yeah.
It's technically a Virgin Media router. It's not a PS5, but
yeah, everyone's saying it's really big. I don't get it. It's only about 30 centimeters tall, but the discs don't go in it. I don't know why.
No, I think with the PSVR 2, obviously they haven't released any headset news, so I hope they do update the headset and they're not just releasing controllers to go with the old headset. Because
it's going to be a whole new thing. Because obviously
whole new
the
face mask.
The old headset doesn't work with the new camera.
Yeah,
so they're going to release
a little bit of that. I think I read somewhere they're going to make the field of view better somewhere. Yeah. I read that today.
And the frame rate is going to be like 120, I've heard rumours. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is with VR, the only thing that I'll say with VR is you've got your Oculus, you've got your Valve, you've got your independent companies, and then you've got PlayStation doing it. But what they need to do is they need to sort of get in contact with each other and find the standard for it. Because at the moment, it's constantly evolving VR, and there's constantly no standard. So all the games that were released like 2 years ago on the Oculus kind of don't work with the new controllers, because the new controllers have adapted so far that you need finger and new programming, new games for it. So until we can get a VR standard for everything, the games are going to be very picky and choosy, I think.
As a consumer, I'd agree. However, it's the same as Formula One. They're like different teams competing to dominate the same market. So there's no way they're going to release trade secrets that they've been developing in-house to other companies to make sure that the consumer gets what they want. Because at the end of the day, at the moment, they're in that kind of fine point where they can really profit off of making an amazing game that comes with an amazing VR set, like Half-Life Alex.
I mean, that's
not only
the thing.
did it have an amazing title, but it also had a specific VR requirement.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it kind of, as much as that's a pro, it's also a con, because an average person like me who don't have that controller set or don't want to spend £500 to upgrade to the Index controllers, It's like to play that one game, you need to fork out 500 quid.
I mean, you can still play it with the Quest, like the old controllers, but to get the most out of it,
I don't think they'll do that because they probably earn more money keeping it to themselves at this point in time. Maybe 3-4 years down the line when it's a little bit more open and more
but I think that's what they need to do to grow VR as a competitor for other kinds of gaming.
I was literally about to bring that up.
Yeah. It's quite a niche market.
We're talking about PSVR 2. How many PSVR 1 games do you really know or care about? I mean, the one that I have only really ever wanted to play was Resident Evil 7. Yeah. And I never got round to it.
Which
that was
is
the one game that really stuck out to me.
It is proper shit yourself scary, though.
Oh, no, it is good via Resident Evil 7. I couldn't even play it in VR.
The other two I think of, though, is Beat Saber, which is on everything.
Yeah.
And then...
that's what I mean. Beat Saber, the reason why everyone talks about Beat Saber is because Beat Saber you can play on the Oculus Quest for 200 quid without any hardware. Yeah. It's like, it's such a accessible market, these sort of games.
Which is why I'm surprised that there's not more of them coming out, you know? You would have thought strange. With the Oculus Quest and the Quest 2 coming out recently...
I think the developers are not willing to put all their eggs in a basket. Like, most developers are working on a shoestring budget anyway, so they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket and go, let's make a VR game for this controller. Because in 6 months there might be a new controller that has like toe inputs or something. Do you know what I mean? It's constantly evolving. That it's like the games are constantly evolving with it. So there's probably really good games in the works now, but because the controllers keep evolving and the resolutions keep evolving and what you can do within, because what you got to remember with VR, the headsets have 2 screens, so you're rendering 2 games at once. So the more powerful computers get, the more realistic VR is going to get. You know.
But that's the thing with PSVR 2. I'm like, unless they double down on the games, because the games they have made specifically for PlayStation VR are good. Like Blood and Truth, if you've ever played that, is amazing.
No, I don't.
It's kind of like if you play, it's kind of like Lock, Stock, the game, but in VR, which is really good.
Lock, Stock 2, Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, like it's a proper Guy Ritchie film in VR.
Oh, really? Okay. Is it like a story-based kind of...
Yeah, so you're like a mob family in London, and another mob boss kind of wants to take over your territory, so you have to fight back and infiltrate his gang and all that. And yeah, it's really good. And there's lots of like car chases and fun. Yeah, it's a proper story-driven.
So you have to follow the story, or is it? Can you be a little bit lenient with it and be like, hey...
it's not like really intense, and you have to like, it's not like War and Peace the game. It's just like
not like VR chat.
It gives you a reason to do things like this guy killed your dad. Go shoot him.
Yeah. Like when it comes down to shooting, it feels like I don't know about you, but with games, it's like an ABCD kind of plot line. I kind of like I'm starting to move more into the open questioned. How do you do it? Do you even commit revenge? Do you? Or do you just...
The existential game.
No, it's like Minecraft. Minecraft, where you can just... I don't play it that much, but I've seen people do it. And they just kind of block people in.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just make them do weird stuff. This is like, what?
Who's this is Minecraft and not like some...
No, I know what he's on about. The one I've been watching lately is Grand Theft Auto role-playing servers.
Oh, yeah.
It's just bloody... It's just weird, man. Yeah. There's people now, as we're talking, making this podcast, there's people working inside of a coffee shop. Inside of Grand Theft Auto.
GTA, yeah.
And they work like 6-7 hours a day in-game.
It's like, what is it? It's like, what is it?
That's a decent shift.
Is it Life 2? Was it? Second Life.
Second Life, yeah.
Yeah, Second Life. Yeah, it's literally like that.
In GTA, revamp of Second Life, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was watching some guy streaming it the other day, and he's role-playing as Tupac. And he's literally going around...
The hologram version or the real one?
No. His backstory is that he's been living in Cuba for...
And now he's on the corner selling Biggie T-shirts.
And that...
Tupac is alive! I saw Tupac on 42nd Street selling Biggie t-shirts 2 for $10, man.
And now he's in Los Santos.
He was my best friend.
The FBI have raided Cuba, and now all the celebrities have ransacked Los Santos or something. They have all these backstories. It's bloody crazy.
There is a theory though, in there, that like Tupac and Elvis are like on some island in the middle of nowhere. Like they had, and Michael Jackson, they all had to escape.
Yeah, mental Illuminati.
That'd be one hell of a party, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What a show! Imagine you like crash landed on that island, and like, it's just like they've made themselves a little stage, and Michael Jackson's dancing, and
that's what you call honestly, a super group.
You get there, and you'd be to that level. They wouldn't even recognize you as a living thing. They'd be like, "Oh wow, what is that?"
Yeah, Prince is there now as well.
I believe it's called a cockatiel. And you'd just be stood there speaking to them in English as a human being, and they were like, "Pardon me, cockatiel."
What are you on about?
Celebrities are on another level, man. Anyway.
I mean, those ones were, once you get to a certain level of celebrity, like, I know what you mean. The real world isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, what is it? I think there was, I believe this is a true story, but it's something along the lines of Prince ordered a fucking giraffe to a hotel.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's a story from Kevin Smith when he was working on the documentary for him. And Prince at like 3 a.m. was like, "I want a giraffe," and his aides were like, "But Prince, it's 3 a.m. We're nowhere near even a zoo, and why?" But he had this mentality of if he asked for it, it should be done.
It happens.
They literally had to make calls. They had to make calls of like, could we get a giraffe to the hotel in the next couple of hours? It's just like insane.
Materialize a giraffe. Yeah. So I wasn't entirely like crazy in thinking that this person wouldn't even recognize you as a human being. They'll be like,
yeah, they are on other. Some celebrities are on other levels.
It's like being in virtual reality when you're a celebrity. See, tie it all back. That'd be a good VR game, to be like Celebrity, the VR game.
What, but then just mistake everything around you.
Yeah.
Like, so you see a lampshade, and you'd be like, "Light on," and it'd be someone with a flashlight in reality. They're just like.
I think a better game would be running from president. Not running for president, running from president, and it's just Donald Trump chasing you.
Yeah, that game wouldn't last very long, though, would it? He'd get about 4 feet, he'd be knackered.
Yeah. But yeah, if you could create any VR game, say your dream VR game, what would it be?
I don't want to say.
And please, yes, keep your answers.
To be honest, those games probably already exist. Like, leave a comment in below if you've seen that kind of game.
See, for me, the closest one that I've got played VR is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. That'd be the closest to
is that any good?
Yeah, it's really good, but it's really knackering because there's loads of zombies and you're constantly fighting, and it makes you realise that if a zombie apocalypse did happen, I would probably be screwed because I can barely do it in VR, let alone in real life, and I haven't even got any zombies really attacking me.
I was thinking something similar. Mine would be like a H.P. Lovecraftian kind of thing.
Dark Souls.
No, it's like a Dark Souls-y kind of thing. No.
Bloodborne.
It's like you spend a lot of time doing things and like building up like a kind of life or environment or something, like, you're working towards something. However, there's this ominous nothingness that's behind you and following you, but however it's always present somehow in the VR, so it kind of intrudes into your general psyche. So like people that have any kind of paranoia or mental health probably wouldn't be able to play it. But,
I was going to say, it sounds like Nathan the game.
But yeah, like
he's in my head, man.
Social Anxiety, the game.
No, not even that. Like
I know what you mean. Like just
H.P. Lovecraftian kind of ominous horror feel, and there's this kind of, and it just builds
so
up.
it
like
makes
this
it feel
tension.
that something's
it's like
following
old
you.
school horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like also that there are hints of there's this kind of horrific being. It's like Bird Box. A Bird Box the game. You know, there's this Lovecraftian something that's taking over. However, instead of it killing absolutely everyone, you're in a area, or you're in a place, or you're
Bird Box wouldn't be the best.
You're an affected person that has this kind of psyche affected to you. So it's kind of like a very personal, isolating horror in VR. So it fully engrosses you psychologically, visually.
In the settings, you put like what you're most scared of, like if it's snakes or spiders or.
Ooh.
And just have them.
Or clowns or. Yeah. No, I think saying that, like, imagine a GTA game as VR. So like a sort of open world VR game, which I don't think I've seen yet.
No, nothing really open world. Saints and Sinners is a little bit open world, but it's still got a lot of sort of.
I've changed my mind. I know exactly what I want as a VR game, and it goes back to Valve because I want Portal, but in VR.
Oh, that would make you so sick, though.
Maybe.
The like when you've got
the motion sickness would get you.
They wouldn't be able to put the perpetual motion like puzzles in it, because if you kept lobbing yourself through portal after portal, and your speed was getting faster and faster, you're just going to go bleh.
That's true.
Everywhere.
Or like when you fall, when you fall through, if you fire one above you and below you, and you just whoop 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 whoop. Yeah, no, that makes you feel sick.
You might start having a seizure.
Be good. I think it'd be good though.
Yeah. No, it would work, but they would have to sort of. That's the one thing with VR is the motion. The faster you get, the more uneasy your brain goes.
Yeah.
I'm standing still, but I'm moving super fast, and yeah. Some people don't get it, and I tend to find a lot of younger kids now that have been brought up with 3D games tend to not get as much motion sickness as oldies. You know.
Like, I get it now and again, but it depends on the game. Sickness.
But like, if I give the VR headset to my dad, it's like he's in a whole other world and he doesn't register it. Do you know what I mean? He screamed, he jumps, he's falling over. He's like, it puts him completely off balance. And
yeah,
it's the same with like my uncles and stuff like that. It's like they don't compute it. But the younger you get, and the more you've been brought up with technology,
the younger you get. I'm gonna pause you there. The younger you get, you're getting younger.
No, the younger you go down the line. If you had a VR headset,
you got
and put
that
it on
Benjamin
people,
Button thing.
No, if you pull it on people from the age of like 60 down to 10, I reckon a 10-year-old wouldn't even flinch, where a 60-year-old would be like, get me out of here! Like, trying to punch him.
Like those videos on YouTube you see.
Yeah.
The mum ends up running into the TV because she's scared of the zombie.
I think my favourite one is the dad that walks on the balance beam, and then as he gets to the end of the balance beam, he dives,
jumps off. Yeah,
very very big expensive telly.
Yeah. Have you seen the one when they've put the Altair Assassin's Creed Hawk thing when he jumps? He jumps up and it goes and just smashes into the TV.
You know what? I revoke my my VR game suggestion. I take it back. An Assassin's Creed VR. You just be there, like slaughtering all these people. Just be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't make it." The amount of innocent people killing like
that'd be good for loading in though, because you'd be in the animus, as it were.
Oh, but imagine like you have your headset on the table in front of you, and like you do like it's on the screen, and then they're like, "Hello. Welcome to the Animus stuff." And they're like, please, can you dock into the headset? And then you've got to pull it on, and when you pull it on, it like loads you into the world.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed. So cool. We trademark this idea.
Yeah, Ubisoft. We have we'll take 40% and all merchandise sales for the game.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Saying that though, with VR like being more usable for more people. There was that idea with the Switch that they were going to have the Switch become a VR headset, weren't there?
Yeah, well, they did do it with.
Are there actual games?
Not there is the what's it called? What was the Labo?
Oh, Labo.
Yeah, the Nintendo Labo.
Yeah,
they did actually release, but it was only released in Japan. A version of it that was a VR headset.
Ah.
And that was what everyone was rumoring they were gonna do it as a VR headset. But I think they see that it didn't sell very well.
Yeah.
As a Labo, so they probably didn't do it.
Well, speaking of that, takes us good on to our second item, which is the Switch Pro. Which maybe they'll end up doing that with the Switch Pro. They held back and thought, actually, let's wait for a better screen.
Yeah,
better hardware.
I'll imagine the actual normal Switch would run in VR kind of like a mobile 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, not very well.
I like the Samsung Gear thing.
Yeah, like the old Samsungs and stuff when they very first started.
Yeah.
Because the Switch is, 5 years old now? 4 years old?
Yeah, getting there.
Like that.
I mean, how long is the sort of console life? It seems to be only about 6 years now, doesn't it? So.
Well, not for Nintendo.
No. But I could see them updating it with, you know how they did the Wii and then the Wii U?
Yeah, definitely.
So a Switch Pro with, what's the specs on it? It's going to be 4K when docked. OLED screen, apparently.
Yep, apparently a Samsung OLED screen.
Yeah.
4K support in dock mode. 1080p handheld, that's what I want mainly, because I play my Switch handheld.
And a 7-inch screen as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is a decent size.
Aluminium casing, not plastic. So it's
good.
It's all metal. Apparently, just to let everyone know that's listening to this is allegedly, this is the rumours that have come out from like Forbes and stuff like that, from their specialists.
No, my uncle works in Nintendo and told me all. That's exactly what's happening.
And the other big thing as well that apparently they think is going to happen with it is support for third-party accessories, Bluetooth support.
Oh, they so need that. Like, imagine having your Switch and you could just have your headphones Bluetooth to it without that. I know you could get a dongle and stuff, but it's just... And the thing is, the Switch has the hardware in it. There is Bluetooth in the hardware. They just haven't turned it on.
It's because they wanted child-friendly. That's the reason why Nintendo online services doesn't have any TeamSpeak or anything like that. It has to be done through an app on the phone. Because they don't want anything to do with lawsuits where someone's going, they called my kid a stupid arsehole or something on Splatoon or whatever.
So they don't have party chat or anything like that?
No, there's no party chat on the Switch for online games.
Sorry, just to give everyone a little bit of context, I don't have a Switch. I kind of want one, but I want one for like solo player games like the Zelda games.
Yeah, I will say probably hold fire on that for a couple of months, because if the new one's coming out, it'll be a
it'll be worthwhile, like spending the extra £75.
Yeah. Although I don't see the point of getting that Switch handheld unless you exclusively play it in handheld mode.
No, I was always going to buy the console.
Pay the extra to have it on TV.
Link up to my telly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I'd only want to play Breath of the Wild. Like, I want to play Breath of the Wild, and I want to play it on my TV.
Yeah.
Because it looks
amazing. But the one thing that's even more amazing is Breath of the Wild in 4K.
Yeah.
Someone's made a mod of the Wii
Dolphin emulator, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can use the Wii U emulator on PC with AI mods that gives you 60 frames per second, 4K, and it looks amazing. So if they could do that on the actual Switch, would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the first original docked Switch is still impressive when you're playing something like Breath of the Wild. And you're like, this is basically a big phone, and it's playing a AAA game, you know?
I was playing the other day in handheld mode, Doom 2016 on it, and it runs fine.
Yeah.
Not got the best graphics. It's not like my PC version, but it's so playable, like especially for someone that if you're a professional Doom player and you want to practice on the go, so you got a 12-hour flight, you can sit and play Doom. Do you know what I mean? You can practice on your Switch.
The one thing I will say with the Switch though is I am not a fan of the Joy-Cons at all. And maybe it's just because I have bigger hands, but like I ended up getting the Joy-Cons, the Hori Switch Pad Pro Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
And it has changed my Switch play. I actually like pick it up every day now when I'd only kind of play it a couple of times a week, just because you can actually have it on your bed or whatever on the sofa and just it feels comfortable. So that's one thing I hope with the Switch Pro is they actually redesign the controllers.
Yeah, I think hopefully they grasp from what the Switch has told them, like they learn from what the first initial release has, and people don't really care about the size as long as it's comfy. So if you put an extra couple of inches either side to get a bit bigger controllers, plus there's a lot of
but
I think second party stuff in the Chinese market.
With the bigger controllers, I think they also developed and made for like children and people of the younger age.
No, they're making them for me,
Nintendo.
And I have big hands.
This is one thing I don't like about Nintendo. I love Nintendo. I've always had Nintendo, from Super Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, and N64.
Oh, I love my Super Mega Drive.
I swear
although I preferred the Saturn 64.
Was it a Sega? Is that how they say it?
No, it was a Sega. That's how you say it.
But yeah, I had a Sega Mega Drive and a Super Nintendo or Super Famicom system when I was younger, and that was the sort of my introduction to gaming. But I always played the Super Nintendo a little bit more. And N64, I would say, was probably my first console that I can well and truly remember, like, going mad for.
Yeah, the 64 games, was amazing.
The N64 was, like, my favourite thing. But as I've got older, I feel like Nintendo forget that probably 50% of their market are in their 30s. And they always just release... I don't know if it's because they're predominantly Japanese, and in Japan, they like things... like kawaii and cute and small, so they always try and do it for smaller. Like they always try and keep it cute and cutesy, and it's always bright colors and stuff. And I just like to see Nintendo release a Pro version that's like sleek and in like do you know, like when you get the Xbox Pro controller and you open it, it's in that sleek box. I want a Switch like that. That's like made for people that are like, what's a kid want 4K for? Kid don't know what 4K is. If you're making a Switch that's got 4K, you know you're aiming it at 30+ year olds, 25.
I think that's another point you're saying though, with the whole, keeping it smaller because Japanese market. That's exactly what happened with the Xbox controller, the original one, is because they may have had the Duke and then they made the smaller one specifically for Japanese market because they complained that it was too big, and then that kind of came over here because the Duke was too big, to be fair.
Yeah,
but the fact
Duke
that they
like the Economist Game Sphere from South Park.
Yeah. But I saw a funny video earlier. It was Shaquille O'Neal trying out different controllers.
Yeah.
And like he's holding like the little Joy-Con and being like, "What the fuck?" And then like he had the Duke at one point, and it was just like that looked normal size in his hands. It's like I forgot how big it was.
In regards to making games for children, they probably still are, so that they've got another generation of people that they can provide or produce games to.
Yeah.
So you've got all of these kind of game competitors and game markets that are doing all of these things now, and they're appealing to the mainstream audience, which are people in their 20s, 30s, etc., people that can pay money for games. However, Nintendo keep producing games for the children, and I know a lot of people are buying these Nintendo consoles for their kids, and they are buying the Nintendo games for their kids because obviously, what are you going to buy? You're going to buy the console, and you need to have something to play it on. You need to have something to play on it, so you're going to buy the games. So your kids and the next generation are being brought up with the new generation of Metroid, of Mario, of whatever else comes with it. So I mean, even though it may be like, it might not be like the $27 billion market that they're trying to crack into, but instead it's like the $19 billion market that they're trying to crack into. However, they're looking at the longevity of it, and I think that's very smart. Because I mean, if you look at like Xbox and Microsoft, what are they doing? they're buying out and they're spending shed loads of money.
Yeah.
Buying out other game developers to do exactly what Nintendo have been doing since me and you and Joe were children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a game company, it's fucking smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, I reckon by the time we get old and we pass away or we have kids or we do whatever, we're still going to be having Nintendo products around.
I think they're trying to play it smart at the moment because obviously they flopped with the Wii U. So I guess they're taking it easy with the Switch to be like, well, let's take our time with it because, you know...
It's because, like I said, the Wii U, the release game was a zombie game, but the console was like a bubbly plastic toy, looked like Fisher-Price. Do you know what I mean? It's like, either pick one or the other. You're either going 100% kids or 100% adults. Don't release all adult-friendly games and then release a controller that looks like a bloody VTech speak and spell.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit... It was just a bit strange. I just feel like Nintendo... Like
the last speech, I completely forgot about the Wii U. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, there's not much to remember. All the good games from Wii U are on the Switch, and it's annoying because like they were great games on the Wii U, but they've seen a new life on Switch because it's just a better console all round.
Yeah, it's just it hit at the right time. The Switch, it was that hybrid that everyone needed, wanted to play decent.
I feel like they looked at their two strengths. What are our two strengths? Okay, our mobile platforming gaming, which is where Pokemon era was. Like they went back a bit, yeah, and
like Game
Pokemon
Boy,
era,
DS,
Game Boy,
so successful.
And then also, what could they do? Okay, we've got the console as well. So they had like Nintendo. What was it at that point? It was. They had the Nintendo console as well at that point, didn't they?
The Wii U? They had the Wii and the Wii U.
No. Back in the 90s.
Well, 90s
you had Super Nintendo, just NES.
Super Nintendo,
and then
yeah. So there's like, okay, they've realised that they've had those two giant gaps in the market, and they've always kind of released them bouncing off of each other, but they've never released the same thing, and then like melding them together as something that you can...
It's a genius
have the
idea.
same games that you play at home and take on the move is amazing.
Yeah.
Because
hybrid gaming, which is what the other companies are moving towards that as well now. With Xbox is doing the Game Pass on a phone that you can connect with a controller. So you can play your games on the go as well as at home. So the other companies are trying to steal it.
But the delay will suck if your home system needs to be on and it's all via... Because PlayStation done that, and that's why I bought like a Sony... Oh, what did I get? I got like a Sony Xperia something. And I was meant to be able to play my PlayStation games through Wi-Fi in the same house. And I'd done that once, and the delay was horrible. I played Binding of Isaac, and the delay... was so bad. It was a great game, but the delay was fucking awful, and I was like, "Oh my god, there's no way I'm doing anything with this."
That's the thing. I don't think we're quite at the point where streaming gaming is that good yet.
No, the whole Stadia and all that stuff is
Game
a no.
Pass and EA
But things
Play
like Game Pass, I think, is a genius. Being able to subscribe and download your games to play them.
Yeah.
Oh, is that like PlayStation Plus? No, not PlayStation Plus. The PlayStation
PlayStation Plus because you get the free games and
PlayStation Now has a few games that you can download.
That's it. PlayStation Now, that's it.
Yeah, I think again, it's like what we were talking about with Nintendo. I think a lot of these companies live in a dream world where they think everyone has like T1, T2 connections of internet.
Well, especially in the UK though, because there was actually news this week that because basically it meant that BT, who have basically most of the coverage of phone lines around the UK, the government had a thing where BT would have to pay the government to upgrade their network. So BT were like, well, we're not going to pay you to upgrade our network.
Ridiculous.
And now... But that's the news this week, is that there's like a 7-year hold on that. So BT are like, right, let's do it. Let's upgrade everywhere now. So in the next 7 years, they're going to be upgrading to hopefully gigabit internet. around the UK as like standard.
Yeah. In America and stuff, they have in majority of cities they have super fast internet.
Yeah, I mean in Europe,
newer.
The UK is like one of the worst countries in Europe for internet speed.
And it's like PlayStation Now for me when I was running it, run okay, but there was just noticeable drops in places. Yeah, there was just noticeable drops and noticeable drop inputs. So pressing X or pressing thingy just didn't register fast enough or didn't register at all and stuff. And when you're trying to play a game that's shooting like Uncharted or something, it's a bit like, you can't.
It relies on your response time.
Yeah.
Or especially an online game.
If I was playing an old Super Nintendo emulation or something, I wouldn't care. Yeah,
if I was playing chess, it'd be great. That's even if you're playing a Nintendo emulation, you still want that input to be on time. So like you're jumping and then you're jumping because platforms move. Like platformers are hard.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But they're so less taxing than a 3D game. It'd probably be a lot easier to stream it to your TV as well. The bit rate wouldn't be as demanding.
I still think there'll be the input. Like, I don't know. I've never really played any of these services. I still have I want to have a hard copy.
Yeah.
And that way, if I don't like it, I can just sell it.
I do usually as well, because that's exactly the point. I don't want to buy a game at full price online and then not like it and have it forever and have wasted that money when you can buy it physically and trade it in for like half the price of the game and buy another one that you actually do like,
Yeah, but I think the one thing that we're forgetting here as well with the sort of streaming services is maybe it doesn't fit into, because we're gamers, we're here on a YouTube channel. We have a gaming YouTube channel.
Please subscribe.
And Tom streams on Twitch at Nanook12, and like we're all gamers. We're all gamers, and for me, maybe if I was like a businessman that liked a game but was very busy going to different meetings in different towns and stuff and didn't have access to a main console or something, like fair enough, you could buy a Switch and play it handheld mode, but maybe like Stadia, you're in hotels 6 months of the year, maybe Stadia, having that control pad in your bag, you log into your Stadia account in a hotel, whether the Wi-Fi is good enough or not, I'm not sure, but do you know what I mean? There could be a purpose for it, but with the rate that Stadia's dropped, I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, Stadia's kind of been a bit of a flop, and I think it is down to that. The speeds just aren't there yet,
Yeah.
Once 5G is kind of rolled out fully, and they've updated their bitrate speeds, and it's
once
more
5G's
viable. Yeah,
rolled out, and we've all melted. There'll be no need for games.
But it's the same thing happened with streaming, because it's like Time Warner AOL had that big thing in the like noughties, where like maybe 2000 or something, where they kind of had a huge like dip in their revenue because they had this idea of streaming media, and they had the right idea, but just the technology wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
So, but now obviously you've got Netflix, and that was what their idea was back in the day. So.
But it's one of them things as well. It's like a lot of movie streaming services, fair enough, work a lot easier because a movie's a movie. It's not a game. Do you know what I mean? It's
However, you'll be saying that now, but give it like 10, 15 years, and you'll be saying that about games, and then there'll be VR games. There'll be like the next thing will be, it'll be like, okay, there's games, there's game streaming services. We've perfected them. We've got the internet speeds down for that. And then the next thing will be, the VR games streaming services suck. And it will suck because there are so many inputs, because obviously they have to motion capture all of what your body's doing.
Yeah.
So it's just a step forward, like it's
not
a matter of
no, it's shit. It should be good now. I want it now.
It's just a time, man.
I just think... I think it comes down to. I honestly think it comes down to investors, and the thing about like movie streaming. The reason why movie companies love movie streaming is now they've seen in this pandemic that they can, like HBO Max and stuff, they can make millions still and don't have to put their movie in a cinema. Which when you're not putting your movie in a cinema, you're cutting out so many middlemen. You don't need to make posters. You don't need to do promotion. You don't need to get it shot to film or whatever they're using in the cinema.
Especially films like that as well, with obviously the Justice League Snyder Cut release this week.
Yeah.
And it's like those kind of films that are so big and so much CGI, and they look amazing on TVs that are in our homes now, because our TVs are bright and big. And on the cinema, like honestly, watching say I've been rewatching the Marvel films during lockdown, and it's just like they're so much better on a big TV because they're bright and big, and you can pause them to go to use the toilet when you want to. It's like that. I'm not saying cinema's dead, but I think it is.
You're not risking
so much better.
Someone coughing and splattering all over you, giving you COVID as well.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a good positive as well.
But it's but like I was saying, like the film companies have realised they make more money streaming because they probably don't make as much money as they would have on the box office opening, but they make more money because there's less money going out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They advertise on their own platform. They're not paying for advertisement. They're advertising on their own platform. So everyone.
I think it'll take a little while before it goes exclusively to streaming entirely to a certain platform.
Oh no, yeah, I do think that. But HBO Max have confirmed for the next 2 years now. Every movie by HBO on release day, it will be in the cinema, and then the day after, it's going to be released on HBO Max.
Yeah, and I think in the UK they've made a deal with Now TV, so anything that's going to be on HBO Max will be on
Sky and Now TV. Yeah, which they obviously are going towards that thing of like more people want to stay at home and watch it due to probably anxieties, mental health. Some people don't like cinemas. Cinemas are quite loud and quite obnoxious. You know what I mean? It's quite a big...
And the amount of times I've had bad experiences where you go to watch a film and there's someone talking behind you, or like, do you remember that? Went to watch Us.
Sorry about that.
Well, no, you were with me when we went to watch Us, and that girl answered her phone
mid
next to you. It's like, are you actually kidding me? Like, serious.
Sitting talking.
I'm really bad. I'm really bad at the cinema. Like, if people annoy me, I tell them to shut the fuck up. And,
oh no, yeah.
And I at that point, I'm just like the center of attention at the cinema. And
but it just spoils the whole thing, and that's why I love watching
films.
Don't
tell me you weren't thinking the same. Don't tell me you weren't thinking the same. You've paid whatever.
But that's being British.
I'm the only one with the nut to say shut.
Be like Nathan and be very British and just shut up and sit down and enjoy the yapping with your music.
Do you know what you've got to do if something like that happens? You've just got to do this very loudly. Tut. That's what we do in Britain.
Nah, my one is just a favour. Come on. And everyone's just like, it's polite, but it's in the middle of polite and just shut up.
Yeah.
But like, what I was saying about like the streaming, I think the games companies now are seeing that if they can turn everyone to streaming, then they don't have to print discs anymore. That's more money saved. You know, it's the same with like the indie market now. The indie market only thrives because of digital media. If everything still had to be printed, there would be no such thing as the indie market now.
Yeah,
it would still be handpicked by the top 10% of game thingies. But because we can just upload a game to the internet now, we live in an amazing time. Anyone can make a game and go, look, here, have it, take it. And I think the games companies are now seeing like, oh shit, these people are sitting at home making games or sitting at home writing beats and becoming successfully rich just off of a MacBook. They don't need a whole studio. They don't need... I think the big companies now are seeing that and thinking to themselves, we can save a lot of money here.
I mean, look at some of the biggest games. Like, you know, Beat Saber's one of the biggest games the past couple of years, made in Unity. It's a free program.
Yeah.
You know? I know there's prices involved once you sell your game, but like the fact that was made on a free piece of software is incredible.
Yeah. It really is. But and I think Microsoft are heading up with their Game Pass thing. It's fair enough. Isn't streaming, but it kind of is. You pay monthly and you get all their games.
Yeah. If their consoles worked and didn't just die like my Xbox One X, which is fun. But yeah.
But it's that one thing. I have Game Pass and I probably play 1 or 2 games a month for a few hours here and now. I don't play. I'm not like I used to, but yeah, I'm giving Microsoft £120 a year. So when I feel like playing a game, I've got all the latest games there. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I do. Yeah,
I'm watching a streamer and someone's streaming Sea of Thieves. I'm like, oh, I want to play that. That's £40.
Yeah, but Game Pass is a great deal when you look at all the games. And also now that they've got the Bethesda deal that came through this week, including Doom, we were talking about earlier. All the Dooms are going to be available through it.
The whole umbrella of Bethesda, haven't they?
Yeah,
all of their studios, which is pretty good.
But there seems to be a bit.
My main question. My main question about that is the one thing that would fuck it up would be if Microsoft. Sorry for the use of the F word. But if Microsoft got their thank you. If they had any kind of creative input, and that is my main issue. Along with the fact that I'm never going to buy an Xbox because
I kind of hope they go the Sony way, because obviously Sony set up its own division, didn't they, where they bought a load of games companies like Guerrilla and Santa Monica and stuff. And what they did with that is they just went, you do you. Here's money, you do you, because we know you can do. So that's what I'm hoping Xbox has, that same idea of like, you make good games, go and do your thing.
Because like my one main, I got two main worries. Is one that we'll have a Microsoft Smash Bros. Smash Micro, or something like that, where you're gonna have Doom guy absolutely smashing the hell out of Master Chief or something like that. But that's minor. That's not a big deal. Maybe they're just buying more properties to actually be able to develop something like that, which could be good, could be trash, but whatever. It'll be what it'll be. It'll be like PlayStation All Stars, and let's face it, what did that do?
Oh god, I completely forgot about that game, but yeah,
terrible.
But then, you had, what is it? Nathan Drake fighting Kratos? What even is that? Anyway,
see Kratos in the PlayStation version of Mortal Kombat. Hell yeah, was it Mortal Kombat 9 he was in? That was good. That was very good.
I'm not really sure.
But my heart sank.
Oh,
I found when he was in Fortnite. Yeah, that I was just like, really, you're really giving your intellectual property to Fortnite?
Yeah,
the biggest fucking money laundering thing in the world.
That's the thing; it's a big payday, man.
Yeah, I know. It gets him out there.
Stringing back to the old Bethesda thing, I just hope to God, and I don't know if you guys know more about this because I don't know too much. I read like one article a little bit before this podcast. But I hope they don't get any kind of creative input, and I hope that they don't just isolate it to Microsoft consoles, because if I have to buy an Xbox to play the next Doom, I'm going to be pretty upset. And also, they've only just released their second DLC today for Infinite, so I hope that doesn't affect like any kind of.
Oh no, that's still available.
Any kind of pathway. I meant just like any kind of pathway that they had. Maybe they was planning to have Doom Eternal to be like a kind of longevity, long-term pathway. And I know they're doing the master levels, and the master levels are great. They're really challenging and tough as hell. But I hope that they don't just make it exclusive to Microsoft's
See, I think we're going to have timed exclusives, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to be fully exclusive, but I do think there's going to be, if you want to be the first to play the new Doom, I think you're either going to have to be on PC or on Xbox Series X, because when you look at the Series X, it's basically a glorified PC. Yeah. You know, it's just a console version of a PC.
And that's one thing with the Series S I don't get, is that it's really not anywhere near as powerful as the X, as the Series X. And like, in a year or two, like I can't see how they're going to be. It's the S is going to hold the X back.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to make games compatible with the S, which is such a lower tier system. So I think that's a bad move from because PlayStation had the digital version, but it's the same hardware. You know.
I think if you look at the rate of sales and how many people play, console gaming only takes up 37% of the market. You know, the console gamers are still in the minority. Majority of people play games on the PC. So I think Microsoft have seen that and thought, let's try and we've still got to put a console out. but they didn't do no marketing for the new Xbox.
No.
I know we're in the pandemic and stuff, but normally there's adverts left, right, and centre. They didn't do hardly anything for this release. There's some people that don't even realise that the new Xbox has been released.
Yeah.
I was chatting to a couple of mates the other day, and they were like, "Oh, is there a new Xbox? Oh, I thought it was just PlayStation 5." Because it just got swamped by PlayStation 5, or they didn't market it.
And also,
enough.
they've done this thing, like in the previous generation, where usually it was just the one console, whereas now it's like you had the PlayStation, then you had the PlayStation Pro, and you had the Xbox One, and then the Xbox One S, and then the Xbox One X, and then, it's this sort of revisions of consoles that I suppose started with,
effectively the same
PlayStation
thing.
2 and stuff, where they started doing the smaller versions and stuff, but the hardware didn't change.
Like I said, it's like the whole console. When I used to work at Game, the whole console launch of the 360, when I was working there for the 360 launch, Xbox made no money on the 360, so you had to sell every console with a game.
Yeah.
Because they made about 50% to 60% profit on a Microsoft first-party game. So for them to make any profit on the Xbox 360, you had to buy the console with an official Microsoft game. So all of our bundles was like the machine with Project Gotham Racing or something.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
that was good in its time.
And you had to buy that game with the console because that's the only way they would be making money.
Yeah.
Because if someone bought the console with a third-party game, they would only get 10% of that, and they were losing 10% on the console, so they would just be breaking even.
Yeah.
So now Microsoft noticed that and realised, so they want everyone on a monthly contract, like a mobile phone. That's what they're turning gaming into. It's like a mobile phone. They want every month. They need to know every year they're getting that 120 quid from their consumer.
Yeah.
So it's like
going back.
They've got something like 16, 17 million people on their Game Pass every month now, and it was like 10 million like 6 months ago, and it's now 16 million people on the Game Pass, which is hundreds of millions a year coming in, which when you look at something like Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 5, that only grossed 50 million,
Yeah.
So that's a game 5 years in the making, really good game, but they only made Sony 50 million and it grossed them 50 million, where Xbox are just putting their games up on this pass, but they're getting hundreds of millions every year from the consumer.
It is the way forward.
It's a very clever marketing plan for them, really.
Yeah.
And that's how they can afford to spend 70 billion on buying Bethesda.
Yeah.
But I know what Tom's saying. You don't want them to have creative input because that'll start ruining the studios.
Yeah.
And you don't want the exclusives, which I don't think they will with Bethesda. I think maybe other studios they will. But Bethesda are so big that they spent 70 billion on the company.
Yeah.
And they need to make that money back somehow.
But
I think they will release on PlayStation as well.
I do think that is what's going to happen, because I know there's one of the PlayStation, their big team of PlayStation companies, are working on a game that's going to be released on Xbox. So
really?
It's the first time a PlayStation company is making a game that will release on Xbox. So I have a feeling there's going to be a cross-brand in the next couple of years. They're going to go, look, we have these companies, but we'll make you more money if you release your game on our console as well.
Yeah.
So I can see the idea of exclusivity, but like, I think it would make more sense if they just kind of joined and went, let's, do this together. Yeah. Especially if it's coming as a Game Pass, which, maybe in 10 years from now, PlayStation and Microsoft will join forces and we'll get this mega company all your games are streamed anyway.
I think it would come more down to the point of Microsoft are not making that much money on the consoles, so why release consoles when people are playing on PC and PlayStation 4? So why not spark a deal with Sony that Game Pass is on PlayStation 4? And then, or PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6. So then you log into your Game Pass account it won't be tied to an Xbox.
I mean, why not? You can log into Netflix and download Netflix films.
That's what the future would really be with it. It would be like Microsoft won't be a console company anymore, and they will you'll have a PlayStation 6 or PlayStation 7, and every fucking game will just be sitting on that one console. But by then, because consoles are turning into PCs now with friendly UI, that's all they are. So by another 10, 15 years time, I think majority of people will be playing on a PC. So everyone will you'll have like a Sony Online thing and a PlayStation Online streaming service. That's why I personally think it'll be going.
Yeah. And if you disagree, leave a comment down below.
Yeah. If you disagree with me, you're wrong.
I think there'll always be some kind of console, but I don't think it'll be in the way that we know it now. There'll always be some kind of box that just is there for gaming.
But you see,
and even then, Nintendo. How many Nintendo games do you get on PC? So there'll always be some sort of Nintendo
Depends if you're doing it
console
legally or illegally.
Super Mario Flashback's quite good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I think like there'll still always be like some sort of Nintendo console, just for the ease and simplicity of it, and the fact that, as you were saying earlier, there's no party chat or there's no kind of things that could potentially be indecent to minors. So yeah, like I do believe there'll be consoles in the future. However, I don't think they'll be as we know them now.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, the thing is,
an Xbox kind of competition and rivalry will probably die out.
That's the thing. Nintendo was, they started out as a playing card company, so they know how to evolve and move with the times. So we'll see.
The only thing I'll say about Tom saying there's always going to be a console and stuff, this is a hypothetical for way in the future, but we're in 2020 now, or 2021, but we're in the
It feels like 2020. So, yeah.
We're in the 2020s, and 10 years ago, when you walked in someone's house, they had a TV, they had a cable box or a Sky box, they had a DVD player, a VHS player still probably about 10, 15 years ago. They had all these boxes under their TV, and now you walk in someone's house, they just have a TV, pretty much.
Yeah. And a sound bar underneath the TV. Yeah,
maybe a sound bar. And we've eradicated DVD players and VHS players with the awakening of smart streaming and smart TVs. So as soon as the streaming services, internet speeds up around the world, I've got a funny feeling that we probably would see a sort of you just need a TV to play your games on it.
Yeah, and like a smart app where, like Netflix, so you go, we go Game Pass, or we go PlayStation Plus, or click on it, pick up your controller and play. Yeah,
we live in the subscription era. That's what it is.
Yeah,
we live in the generation of the subscription, and it's like how much money you earn, it goes out to all these companies every month. Like I've got Netflix, I've got.
That's what we are. We're Generation Sub.
Yeah, Generation Sub. And on that note, make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, guys.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for listening. This was the inaugural Game Boys podcast. I have been Joe. You can contact me at Game Boys UK. Game Boys with a Z, because we're cool.
Ooh, is that on Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah.
Tom, where can they find you?
Alright, so I'm at Nanuke12 Plays, NANUKE12 Plays. Plays like the normal way you'd spell it. And twitch.tv/Nanuke12, how I spelled it before.
Yeah, Nanuke12 at Twitch TV, Nanuke12. Just go and search it, find it, go and follow him, go and sub to him. You stream about four days a week, didn't you?
Something like that when I can.
When I can be bothered. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Studio86 Games, where you can go and check all my new development of my current projects I'm working on.
Looking very fancy as well, they are.
Looking very smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Studio86 Games on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
And we'll catch you on the next podcast. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.